Tonight, 4 dead as America is rocked by 2 separate shooting sprees. A Sydney family devastated as its home goes up in flames. And Australia looks to the US as it takes steps to tackle Ebola.
This is NBN News with Paul Lobb.
Good evening. Also tonight,
Adelaide on the outside in front, and Adelaide has won the Cox Plate.
Adelaide takes out the Cox Plate. The security of a high school has been shattered in an explosion of gunfire. A popular student turning on his classmates without warning. The rampage left a young girl dead and 4 injured, the second shooting to rattle America in just hours.
Children running for their lives in a place that's supposed to be safe.
Yeah, just got information of a possible shooting at the high school in the cafeteria.
Marysville Pilchuck High School, an hour north of Seattle, a scene of chaos and terror.
Time for our community to heal from this, and we're going to get about that work right away.
A Sydney family has been left devastated, returning from interstate to find their home engulfed in flames. Crews worked for hours to put out the blaze, while neighbours rushed in to save their beloved pets.
As flames leapt into the air, firefighters battled to reach the blaze, contained inside the home by security shutters.
After almost 3 months without any representation in state parliament, the people of Newcastle and Charlestown have today voted to elect new state members. NBN's Vivian von Drainen joins us live from Katara High School, where the polls have just closed.
Thanks, Paul. It's been an incredibly busy day in Newcastle and Charlestown, and as you can see, voting is just about to start behind me. Now, some voters seemed a little disengaged with the political process today after the ICAC fallout, but overall, most voters were fairly happy to cast their vote, even though we did have a few voters tear their ballot papers up in front of us. Let's take a look at how election day went.
Tim Krakenthorpe, and a little more Tim Krakenthorpe. Labor's little helpers up since 4 a.m, making sure their candidate for Newcastle couldn't be missed.
Depending on how close the vote is, we could see a result in a matter of hours, but the new members shouldn't get too comfortable as it's just 5 months until the state election. And of course, before then, Newcastle voters also have to elect a new Lord Mayor. So, Paul, a busy time ahead.
It sure is. Thanks, Vivian. Vivian von Drainen there. It's the musical event that keeps strumming along. The Ukulele Festival is on again, and this year's main act is a world-renowned performer that's keen to pass on his knowledge.
Ukuleles at every turn, creating a harmony like no other. Michael Kane, NBN News.
Coming up next, a fitting tribute for the Canadian soldier gunned down in Ottawa. United in grief, Canadians have turned out in force to salute the soldier killed in the Ottawa terror attack. A motorcade returned the body of Corporal Nathan Cirillo to the city of Hamilton as his family revealed its heartbreak.
The hardest of journeys for a mother to make, escorting her son's casket back to his hometown.
Meanwhile, New York's police commissioner has confirmed an axe attack on a group of his officers was terror-related. 32-year-old Zale Thompson was shot dead after wounding 2 officers, one seriously, on a packed street. Investigators found the Muslim convert had recently been trawling through extremist material online and believe he had become self-radicalised. Ahead in the news, a brazen armed hold-up caught on camera. And a man stabbed in his Gold Coast home. A man has been stabbed at his home on the Gold Coast overnight. Police were called to a unit at Coomera around 10:30. It's understood the 36-year-old answered the door to a woman who then stabbed him several times.
Yeah, our inquiries have failed to identify whether she left on foot or in a motor vehicle. So as a result of that, we'd ask for any residents or anyone going by at around 10:30, if they happen to see a female in this area, to contact Crime Stoppers and pass that information on.
It's believed the victim knew his attacker. Later in our news, the royal tweet that sent Twitter into a frenzy. And in sport, why Curtly Beale won't join the Wallabies on tour despite getting the green light from officials. And after the break, Formula One legends celebrate the life of Sir Jack Brabham. The family of Robert Ellis, the Australian man murdered in Bali, has paid tribute to him. Mr. Ellis's body was found in a rice field on Tuesday. His wife was later arrested and accused of paying to have him killed. The 60-year-old's two sons flew over for the service. Severe flooding has caused chaos in Greece, with roads turned into rivers in parts of Athens. Torrential rain caused extensive damage to buildings and left several areas without power. Cars were swept away, some stacked on top of each other as a result of the heavy downpours. Sydney took a while to rise and shine today, hiding under a thick blanket of fog. It caused a few problems in the air and on the roads, but mainly it just shrouded the view.
Good morning, Sydney. Our city's famous skyline a little sheepish, hiding behind a fleecy fog. The Emerald Harbour turned misty white. The bridge was buried while Centrepoint Tower pierced through. Last week it was storms and snow, now it's searing sun. What will Sydney's strange spring bring next?
A Penrith man is taking his love of speed to the extreme. Ben Felton is attempting to set a new motorbike land speed record, but there's a twist. He's blind.
Through the heat haze of a rural airport runway, Ben Felton is in training.
When I'm actually on the bike doing it, there is no emotions at all. I'm just so focused on the task at hand.
Peter Stefanovic, NBN News, London.
More sport now with Chris White, and Chris, Curtly Beale won't be joining the Wallabies tour.
No, coach Michael Checker has made the call. Thanks, Paul. The playmaker won't be joining his Wallaby teammates on the European Spring Tour, even though he survived a 6-hour disciplinary hearing at the ARU last night. Beale was fined $45,000 for sending an offensive text message to former Wallabies staffer Di Patston.
He's basically eligible to play for the Wallabies immediately, and clearly I'll be calling the Wallaby coach a little later to inform him of the outcome.
And it was that phone call that resulted in coach Michael Checker deciding that Beale won't be needed in Europe. Coming up, the A-League goal that saw jaws drop. The Aidan O'Brien-trained Adelaide has taken out the $3 million Cox Plate at Moonee Valley today. The 4-year-old came from the tail of the field to give the Irish trainer his first win in the Weight for Age Championship.
Well, Adelaide Faulkner, Adelaide on the outside in front, and Adelaide has won the Cox Plate.
Adelaide beat home Faulkner and Silent Achiever. As the Wanderers prepare for the Asian Champions League final, Sydney FC have moved to the top of the A-League. The Sky Blues defeated defending champions Brisbane last night, the win coming thanks to 2 spectacular goals.
The newfound spirit at the Sky Blues was clear to see as the team arrived back from their first win in Brisbane in 7 years.
It's been a long while since we won away against Brisbane, so everyone is happy. It was a great team effort.
In Newcastle District Cricket, Merewether has the upper hand over Toronto after day 1, while Wallsend posted a solid total against Charlestown. Cardiff are on track against Waratah. The Students are travelling well against City, as are Hamwicks against Stockton, while Wests are in control over Belmont. The Rosellas made a strong start at the crease, but when Mark Littlewood hit his stride, Aaron Wivell was out. In the next over, Justin Fraser was dismissed after some tight bowling from Jace Lawson. But Andrew Shakespeare provided some resistance with the bat to keep alive West's hopes of a 3rd straight win. The W-League Jets have consolidated their place in the top four with a 4-1 win over the Brisbane Roar at Magic Park this afternoon. Brisbane dominated the early play but couldn't contain Newcastle's in-form attack.
The Jets had never beaten the Roar at home, and early on, that run looked set to continue. Samuel Jordan, NBN News.
8 Lake Macquarie lifeguards are preparing for the challenge of a lifetime. In January, they'll paddle their rescue boards from Blacksmiths to Bondi, all in the name of charity.
They're the masters of their domain, trusted to keep the public safe. But on January 16th, these lifeguards will have their skills tested like never before, paddling their rescue boards 130 kilometres from Blacksmiths to Bondi.
We work together, we all live together, we've all raced in surf life saving like yourself, so, you know, it's all very exciting to be doing that with your friends that you've been mates with for a long time.
For information on how you can donate, visit the NBN News website. Samuel Jordan, NBN News.
Thanks, Paul. I think I'd rather take the IRB.
It's a fair old paddle, isn't it?
It's a great cause.
Good one. Thanks, Chris. We'll have the weather right after the break.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by Holden. With a great range of auto offers on now. Holden is your automatic choice. See your Holden dealer today.
To the weather now, and some thunderstorms are still crossing the upper Hunter this evening. We can expect a partly cloudy Sunday with the chance of some more storms. Patchy bright cloud over southern and eastern parts of New South Wales with a low pressure trough, generating showers and thunderstorms. Skies over western and northeastern parts of the state remain generally clear under a high pressure ridge. A trough stretching from South Australia to eastern Victoria is triggering a few showers in the southern parts of New South Wales. A very hot air mass ahead of that trough is filtering into western New South Wales and Queensland, while those on the coast today enjoyed a cooling sea breeze. It's still warmed up though. Temperatures today across the Hunter were quite warm. 36 the top at Merriwa today. Scone had 37 degrees, 36 at Singleton, 37 at Cessnock. Cooranbong had a top of 32, and you can see the influence of that sea breeze at Nobby's, just 26 degrees this afternoon. Looking ahead to tomorrow, and it's going to be a mostly fine day. Just the chance of an afternoon shower in the north. 35 degrees expected at Wallsend and Toronto tomorrow. 28 on Newcastle's coastline, 26 at the entrance. Another scorcher in the upper Hunter. 38 expected for Singleton, Scone, Merriwa, and 36 in Murrundi. On the waters, the sea's around 1.5 metres, the swell 1.5, and those winds becoming south to southeasterly on the coast and southwesterly tomorrow inland. High tide is at 10:31 in the morning, the low at 4:58. The sun's getting up bang on 6 o'clock and setting around 7:15. There's a new moon at the moment, so not much moonlight for us. And the outlook for the next 7 days to help you plan your week ahead. Monday, mostly fine for Newcastle and Scone. Chance of a shower in Gosford. Still hot moving through the next few days, cooling down around midweek on the coast. In a moment, the Queen enters the world of Twitter. A Google boss has smashed a record of a different kind, this one for the highest parachute jump in history. A helium balloon took Alan Eustace to the edge of the stratosphere, a height of 41 kilometres. Observers heard a small sonic boom as he plummeted back to Earth faster than the speed of sound. And finally tonight, the Queen has shown she can mix it in the modern world, firing off her first ever tweet. Her Majesty used Twitter to open an exhibition, earning herself thousands of new subjects.
Technology has certainly come a long way, but touchscreen-friendly gloves, it would seem, are still not readily available. The Queen, though, wasn't fazed, and with 135 characters, Her Majesty joined the social media club. Informal sign-off and all. The big question now is, will Her Majesty invest in a selfie stick?
And she'll be on Facebook next, no doubt about it. That's the latest news. For more local news and sport, go to nbntv.com.au.
And stay with NBN as we bring you all the action from the Four Nations clash between Australia and New Zealand at 7:30.
For now, though, from all of us here, good night.
Good night.